Presented by Church Tech U, it's the ProPresenter show. On today's show, how to augment your multiview from another video switcher inside ProPresenter 7. Hi, and welcome again to the ProPresenter show. This is the show where I teach you all about ProPresenter. My name's Paul Allen Clifford. And before we get started, if you've ever thought, man, the multiview my switcher gives me is pretty cool, but if I had just a little more information, it would be really helpful. Then go ahead, give me a like, thumbs up, etc., and join the over 11,000 people that have already subscribed to this channel and click the little bell icon. So, this is an idea that I saw someone use in the official ProPresenter users group. I really wish I could remember who it was. I'd love to give him credit. But I thought I would show you the how that goes along with this. So let's head over to my computer and we'll take a look here. So we're in ProPresenter, and the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a screen to do this with. So I'm going to go to Screens, then Configure Screens. Command Option 1 would take me there on a Mac. It's probably Control-Alt-1 on Windows if I had to guess. But I'm going to click on that. And now let me add a stage screen. Now in this case I'm going to add a placeholder screen, but there's no reason why it couldn't be an NDI screen, a siphon screen, or a hardwired screen of some sort if I had an extra one of those in my computer. So I'm going to click plus here, go down to the bottom, new placeholder, and I'm just going to make this 1080p. Whatever the resolution in your situation, choose that. And I do that, and everything blinks. And let me go ahead and I'm going to right click on this so that I can rename this to Augmented Multiview, just so that I know which one is which. So that's the first piece of the puzzle there. Next, I'm probably going to want to select that one, so I'm just going to click here underneath it to select that. And right now, doesn't have anything that's all that helpful to me that has the same thing as here. So let's make a layout. Well, let me back up a step and let's go into ProPresenter and then Preferences if you're on anything other than Ventura on Mac OS, but Settings on Mac OS Ventura, and let's go to Inputs. So you'll notice I already have my multiview. This is a live multiview, so that's in here. So basically what I did is I'm capturing with an Ultra Studio recorder the multiview that is coming out of my ATEM Television Studio HD. So that's all I'm doing here. Nothing special here. In order to do that, I just click the plus button here, select the video source, give it a name, etc. One thing that you do absolutely need to do is if there is audio coming in here, make sure that you either go to no audio source or you mute it so that you don't get audio from your multiview captured as well, because that could cause some problems, he says from experience. Okay, so there we go. We've got our multiview here. And down here under Video Inputs, I could click the plus button to add that. I've already done it, so we don't need that. Now we'll go into Screens and then Edit Layouts right here. Okay, I've already created a layout here, but let me just guide you through how I did it. So I'm just going to click the plus button here and select a blank. So I start off with a blank canvas, and let me right click and rename this Mult-Aug. Just give it a name that you'll remember what that is. First thing I'm going to do, click the plus, and I want to show that video source So I look down here and I don't see a video source preview, but I do see a shape. So I'm going to select shape here, and I can either drag this over and then drag this down to make it the right size. Any of those things are possible to do. Or I can go up here to position and double click in that and do 0, 0. And I happen to know that that's going to put it starting up here, which is pixel 0, 0. So as soon as I hit enter, it goes there. Now I need it to be full screen size. Remember I told you that it was 1920 by 1080, so 1920 by 1080. Okay. Now the fill is set to color. Don't want it to be a color. I want it to be a live video source. So I'm going to go down here and notice it has video input as a choice. So I'm going to select that. And now I've got multiple choices, including input 3 that you just saw me add. I'm going to select the multi-view one. So I click on that. And now this is filled. Step 1, we're done. Now I need to decide what do I want to augment this with. I've got a bunch of choices, so let me just show you a couple of ideas. So if I go down here and I could have a Planning Center live clock added onto it. Absolutely a good idea. I could do time code. That might be very helpful to me. But I thought I'd add capture status. So let's assume that I'm live streaming from ProPresenter or I'm recording in ProPresenter. Either way, it might be helpful for me to have the capture status up here over my my program output. So I'm just going to put that up there. Now I happen to know, and I can use the ability here to add lines. I happen to know that basically this is set to where it shows basically it's divided down the middle here, and then top to bottom it's divided down the middle about there, and then each of these is divided into fourths. So that will show sources 1 through 4 on the top line and sources 4 through 8. Might be different on your multi-view, but that at least gives me a place to start in general. So now I'm going to add another shape. Again, another rectangle, and let's imagine that source number 3 was something I did not want someone to ever put up. So maybe I want to make that shape, and let's change the color to something like red. And let's go in here, and I'm going to change the opacity so I can kind of see why I don't want that there. So that's there. I could have changed the opacity there, but that would have also affected the text, so I'm not going to do it there. Okay, let's close that out, and I'm going to double click in there and just type don't use this source. Okay, so let's go back into show mode. That's probably enough to show you why you would do this. And let's change that for this particular screen. The augment in multi-view, let's click down here and let's change to the mult-aug that I just made. Earlier I made multi-view plus as I was testing this out, so that's why there's 2 of those. So I'm going to click on that, and when I do that, notice it's not perfect, so I'll have to go back in and tweak it. But you can see that my capture status is inactive, and I do not want anyone to use this source, and I can preview that right here in ProPresenter, so I know where all my sources are, what they have, etc. So that's a very helpful little thing to do in certain circumstances. I will tell you that one problem with this is it will add some latency. Could be that the less than a second is no big deal for you, but do know that that's going to happen because the multiview has to come out of the switcher. The switcher has to go into a capture device like my Ultra Studio recorder I showed you, and then it has to, ProPresenter has to stick stuff on top of it and then display it. All that happens very, very fast, but there is some amount of latency that's involved. So do keep that in mind with this. So that's how you can augment your multi-view screen in ProPresenter 7. If you like this content, you'd probably like my ProPresenter 7 Quick Start course, so head on over to TDM.fyi/pro7 and quick. Give me your name and email address, and I'll make a login for you for free. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford from TrinityDigitalMedia.com and ChurchTechU.com, reminding you to go out and change eternity.